Most people work 40 years and retire with almost nothing. This book was written in 1937, and it still explains exactly why and how to escape that trap forever. In 1908, a young broke journalist named Napoleon Hill was given one impossible assignment: interview Andrew Carnegie, the richest man on earth. Carnegie had arrived in America as a poor Scottish immigrant. He could barely read. His first job paid $1.20 a week. By the time Hill sat across from him, Carnegie was worth the equivalent of $310 billion today. Hill expected a short meeting. Carnegie talked to him for 3 days straight. At the end, Carnegie leaned forward and asked Hill one question: "Are you willing to spend the next 20 years interviewing the most successful people in the world, with no guaranteed payment, to discover the secret behind their wealth?" Hill said yes. That decision produced the most influential success book ever written. By the end of this video, you will know the exact principles Napoleon Hill extracted from 500 of the world's most successful people, so you never have to learn them the hard way. Think and Grow Rich was published in 1937 by Napoleon Hill. It took him 20 years to write. He interviewed Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, John D. Rockefeller, and hundreds more. The book has sold over 100 million copies. It has influenced more self-made millionaires than any other book in history, and its core message is still misunderstood by almost everyone who reads it. Here is what most people get wrong about this book. They think it is about money. It is not. It is about the mind. Napoleon Hill spent 20 years studying 500 of the most successful humans who ever lived, and he found one thing they all shared: not talent, not luck, not connections, a burning obsession with a single definite purpose. Think of a magnifying glass held over paper on a sunny day. The sun has been shining all along. The energy was always there. But scattered, it does nothing. Focus it through one point, and it burns through anything. Your mind works the same way. Scattered thoughts produce scattered results. A single burning desire focused with absolute clarity produces results that look like magic to everyone watching. That is the entire book in one image. Lesson 1. Edwin Barnes arrived at Thomas Edison's laboratory in 1905 with nothing. No money, no connections, no experience in business. He had traveled by freight train because he could not afford a ticket. He walked in and told Edison he wanted to be his business partner. Edison looked at this dusty stranger and saw something. Not skill, not a resume. He saw a man who meant what he said. Barnes did not get the partnership that day. He got a small job sweeping floors, but he never changed his mind about what he was there for. 5 years later, Barnes became Edison's exclusive sales partner for the Ediphone dictation machine and made a fortune. The lesson is desire, not a wish, not a preference. A white-hot burning obsession that refuses to accept any other outcome. Hill says most people want success the same way they want a piece of cake at a party. Barnes wanted it the way a drowning man wants air. Write down exactly what you want. Write down exactly what you will give in return. Read it every morning and every night until it is more real to you than anything else. Lesson 2. Darby's uncle was struck by gold fever during the gold rush. He staked a claim, borrowed money for equipment, and started digging. Within weeks, he struck gold. He needed more equipment to extract it. He borrowed more money, brought Darby in, and they worked day and night. Then the gold vein disappeared. They drilled for weeks, nothing. Exhausted and humiliated, they sold all their equipment to a junk dealer for a few $100s and went home. The junk dealer called in a mining engineer. The engineer calculated the gold vein had shifted exactly 3 feet from where Darby stopped drilling. 3 feet. That is all that stood between failure and a multi-million-dollar fortune. The lesson is faith and persistence. Hill argues that every great achievement in history was born 3 feet from the moment the person almost quit. When your plan fails, that is not a sign to stop. It is a sign to adjust and continue. Failure is never final unless you decide it is. Lesson 3. Henry Ford had an idea that every engineer in America called impossible. He wanted to cast a V8 engine in a single block. His engineers explained, in great technical detail, exactly why it could not be done. Ford listened. Then he told them to keep trying anyway. 6 months passed, nothing. A year passed, nothing. His engineers came back with reports proving it was physically impossible. Ford said try again. Somewhere in the second year, they figured it out. Ford was not an engineer. He did not understand the technical details. What he understood was this: the human mind that can conceive a thing can achieve it. Hill calls this the mastermind principle. Surround yourself with people whose knowledge fills the gaps in your own. A group of minds working in harmony toward one goal produces a collective intelligence no single person possesses alone. Ford did not build an empire alone. He surrounded himself with people smarter than him in every specific area and directed them with an unshakable vision. You do not need to know everything. You need to know what you want and find the people who who know how to get you there. Lesson 4. A sales manager named Clement Stone built an insurance empire starting from nothing during the Great Depression, the worst economic period in American history. Unemployment at 25%, banks collapsing daily. Stone hired salespeople and taught them one ritual. Before every single sales call, no matter how tired, no matter how many rejections, they would say out loud with complete conviction, "I feel healthy, I feel happy, I feel terrific." His team outsold every competitor in the country. Hill calls this autosuggestion. The subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between a real experience and a vividly imagined one. Whatever you feed it repeatedly, it accepts as truth and begins to act upon automatically. Your internal voice is the most powerful sales pitch you will ever hear, and you hear it every waking hour. Feed it what you want to become, not what you fear you are. Lesson 5. In 1923, a group of the most powerful men in the world met at the Edgewater Beach Hotel in Chicago. Among them were the president of the largest steel company in America, the greatest wheat speculator of the era, the president of the New York Stock Exchange, and a member of President Harding's cabinet. 25 years later, every single one of them had ended in ruin. Prison, bankruptcy, suicide, insanity. These men knew how to make money. What they did not know was how to make decisions with integrity. Hill calls this the sixth sense, the final and most advanced principle. It only activates after all the others are practiced. It is the quiet inner voice that tells you when something is wrong before your logical mind can explain why. Every great leader in history described moments where they simply knew, beyond reason, what the right decision was. That voice does not come from reading. It comes from years of disciplined thought, honest action, and commitment to something larger than personal gain. Build the foundation first. The voice will come. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Napoleon Hill finished his 20 years of research and sat down to write. He had interviewed kings and presidents, inventors and industrialists, men who had built entire industries from nothing. And in the end, every single story pointed to the same place. Not a bank account, not a strategy, not a lucky break. A decision made quietly, alone, in a moment when no one was watching. The decision to believe with complete and irrational certainty that what you wanted was already on its way to you. The world is full of talented people working hard and getting nowhere. And somewhere right now, someone with half their talent and twice their belief is building something that will outlast them both. The difference was never ability. It was always the conversation happening inside their own mind.